There's common sense, and then there's uncommon sense. Let's join Ray and Joe for the Uncommon Sense Podcast.
Hey, and you're listening or watching Uncommon Sense Podcast. Thank you so much. I'm sitting here with Joe. You got the Ray and Joe show. If it was the morning, we'd have a cup of Joe, and if you think about it, that'd be kind of disgusting.
Well, what's our slogan? It's an outrageous cup of Joe.
Yes.
First time we've used that.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. We were going to be two dudes that know about nothing, but that's already taken, I
Well,
think.
actually, that's on our little jingle we have. Yeah, it's an outrageous cup of Joe. So,
You know,
we
there's
haven't talked about it.
Oh, he got it. Look at that. I'm looking at this hair, and it ain't mine. It ain't yours.
Right.
And it's
Where'd
like
that come
going
from?
around. I'm like,
Just floating around the studio here.
And he grabbed it. What a
Right.
good job. Man, down Stone State Productions here.
We've said this is a professional operation.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very professional. But this is our third podcast, and for the three of you people that are listening, I thought, like, if we grab one person per week,
That's a win. It's a win
man,
for us.
just think, after like 5 years, we'd have 1,000 listeners.
yeah. Hopefully we won't run out of subjects. But yeah.
Oh, we will. We don't have any subjects. But but what we were talking about before we turned on the cameras and the mic was, it's Thanksgiving is right around the corner.
Right.
And a lot of people, like, there's some stuff that I have questions on about Thanksgiving, but I won't go into that right now.
Right.
Joe is telling me about vacation
Well, we
time.
wanted to talk about vacation time.
Yeah.
Because there was, a subject we'll get to here in the podcast.
Why do you
But-
work yourself sick to take a vacation?
Exactly. That was the theme.
To recover.
Today's theme was that. Why do you
Theme.
work yourself sick? Take vacation.
Well, actually, it wasn't the theme. Let me.
Okay, it was-
Because Joe was saying before we got started, he's like, we have to have a plan. I'm like, why? He goes, because we kind of need direction. I'm like, no, we don't.
True.
So this is I'm the seat of the pants, and this is the program director. Just so you know,
Yeah, if this is the first time you're experiencing the
Yes.
Uncommon Sense podcast,
Uncommon Sense, yes.
It's very unscripted.
So
but-
it would be uncommon to have it would be very uncommon sense to have a
script
direction
or a
right,
plan. yeah.
exactly.
But the loose theme was vacation time because it's going to be holiday time.
Yeah.
People, I don't think I'm alone that, your company
You're
does, you
not,
can't
you're
carry.
with me and Chad.
Exactly.
Like, you're not alone.
Well,
So
you
see,
know what
that's
I mean.
another pun.
That's another pun.
On words.
Right.
Okay.
But at this time of year, I think there are a lot of companies that you can't carry over vacation days.
You can
So
with me.
You can at your
Well,
company?
because I have common sense.
You have common-
And if someone doesn't want to take off and I need them to work,
Right.
then I tell them, well, Blaze will never listen to this, but I tell him, you'll lose your day because it's over at the end of the year, but I will give you a bonus to pay for the time that you're going to work.
Which is 100% common sense.
Yes, but
because
we can't say that
Let's
on our
face
show.
it.
It's
If
uncommon.
you're anyone that owns a business or runs a business,
Right.
Here in the year 2025, how hard it is to get people to work, show up.
Heck yeah.
So if you've got somebody who doesn't want
Wants
to take
work,
vacation
but no,
and
you
work,
got to pay him to take off.
Right.
Like, what? That is stupid. That is uncommon sense. Listen, you're a really good worker. I need you to produce, but I'm going to pay you not to come in. Come on. For real?
because there's nobody lining up to do the work.
No. But you know what's
that.
cool? So they all thought it was this great idea to let's sublet our whole payroll department on this. We have I don't want to plug them, but it's not a plug, but we got this P thing. Who is it? It's Paycom, right? And I'm in charge of it. So if they want to take off and they want to work, then I say that they took off and we pay them anyway.
Right, okay.
So-
yeah, right. But it doesn't make sense.
No, it
it's not
doesn't.
like there are people lining up to work.
Exactly. Exactly.
But the thought here was like me, and I'm sure that a lot of people like it because I've talked to people who've said, you've got all these days you're going to lose, so you just arbitrarily schedule days through the end of the year,
Right, and have a staycation.
a couple weeks ago I scheduled I think 13 or 14 days.
How
Now-
many vacation days do you have?
Oh, well, I've been there a while, so I've got 4 weeks of vacation built.
4 weeks.
And a spirit day where I can do, public service in the
spirit day.
pick up garbage or,
that's-
volunteer somewhere or whatever. I don't know. It's very
I would
loose.
take that
It's-
one.
It's a loose
Yeah,
term.
give me that spirit day,
And a
please.
personal day. But anyway,
Do you have any sick days?
I do have sick. Yeah, I'm at the max.
Did you
I
ever
don't think I
call
get
in
any more.
sick when you weren't sick?
Back in the day, sure. At this job, because I'm in sales.
Yeah.
So if I'm not working, I'm not making money.
Okay,
So
I gotcha.
sick days don't.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean. But beside that, I'm sure there are other people who are forced to use days. And again, because I'm in the sales type of business, my
Right.
main job.
Yep. What do you sell? Air.
I sell air. but you got to be present to sell the air.
You do. You do.
So, unless there's something going on, I end up working those days.
He doesn't sell oxygen. He sells radio.
I sell radio
Yeah,
airtime. Puffs of air. I had a client, funny story.
Puffs of air.
Yeah.
We got to keep it exciting.
I had a client who would tell me, who would always say, you've got the best job. You're in here selling just puffs of air.
Yes.
It's nothing. You're
Oh
selling
my gosh,
nothing.
you're right.
You're selling nothing. Why are you charging me X amount of
So
money?
much for nothing.
To buy nothing.
At least when you buy a car, you buy
You get
something tangible.
You're driving home with something.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get puffs of air.
So I tell people to pay interest on stuff that depreciates. That's another topic on common
These are
sense.
all topics.
Yeah, that is not going to help. We have
Today's
to
topic,
write this
though,
down.
is vacation time. Do you
And
use your
Thanksgiving.
vacation time?
And Thanksgiving.
And
I do
holidays,
want to talk
right.
about Thanksgiving.
Right.
Did you ever hear about the gun that NASA had?
No.
NASA had this gun that would shoot a turkey at the windshield of the space shuttle to make sure the integrity was there and it wouldn't go through in case they hit a bird on launch, right?
Gotcha.
So Japan, when they were making this train that went, I don't know how many miles, the speed of sound or whatever, on the rails, they asked NASA if we could borrow your turkey gun because we want to test the integrity of this windshield. So they borrowed it, and then there was an email sent from Japanese, what did you make your windshield out of? Because when they shot the windshield with this turkey gun, it went through the windshield, it went through the train master's headrest, and it went through the wall, the first wall.
Yeah.
And all NASA said was, defrost the turkey. So, I mean, they did shoot it, and that's true. You can look that up. But they did shoot a frozen.
I'll believe everything you say.
Well, don't say that, because the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I'm only truthful at my job.
Right.
If people, I don't want to go on the car thing because we're talking about Thanksgiving and stuff, but how did turkey become the meal of Thanksgiving? And who put cranberries in a can?
True.
Like
of all the places you can put cranberries, why would you stick them in a can?
Exactly. And who's the first person that ate the egg? Had to be a drunk cowboy.
True.
You know?
Because why would you look at an egg and say, wow, that's something I want to eat?
Yeah, I almost think there were two cowboys drunk outside a saloon sitting there, and the one cowboy, chicken was walking across the road, decided to lay an egg in the middle of the street, and the one cowboy had to say to the other cowboy, y'all buy a beer if you eat the first thing that comes out of chicken's ass, and then he ate the egg and he got a free beer.
Which is funny because you think about it.
Yeah.
If today,
Yes.
the year 2025, if you saw an animal and something came out of their butt, something hard, would your first thought be, I want to eat it? Tastes like?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I want to scramble that up. I want to put that in a tortilla shell and have like a burrito out of it. Yeah. I'm thinking, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it never happened.
No.
So what was going through that first person's mind?
I don't know, but man, there's
wonder.
so and then think about this, the long question.
Yeah.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg. Yeah, well, that's
I think it was the rooster, right? But no.
But that's not the part of the question.
It's not. No, it's not. But we're talking about Thanksgiving,
Right?
And we're talking about vacations. Like, do you go on vacation? Like the end of the year when you're in sales, though, that's like the most productive part of the year. I mean,
It's
it
tough to go on
kind of
vacation.
you got to deal with that fat man with the red beard between like Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I'm saying that usually in my business, the week after Christmas, if people want to take off, I tell them you know nothing about sales, because when you're selling cars and trucks, you need, if you have a successful business, you need some write-offs. So it usually happens at that thing.
That happens. Yeah, it's a big time. Well, yeah, and that's why I say for me, and again, I'm sure there are other people in the same boat that you arbitrarily schedule these
Same
days.
boat. Now, what does that mean? Like, we're talking about puns and uncommon sense. Who came up? We're all in the same boat.
Right.
So what are you saying? Is that a positive thing to say? Is that saying that if your boat's in the water and the tide comes up, it raises everyone that's in the water? Or is it if we're in a Titanic? Like, what boat are you in?
And other than the Ark, how big is your boat?
Right, exactly. Well, think about the Ark. The Ark. We are going really off base.
We're getting like spiritual here. And,
I'm not.
religious.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying that was a smorgasbord for the Lions. Think about it. I mean, I got
really
two of
was,
every
yeah.
animal. We got, do they call it the smorgasbord? No.
No, they don't
Was
call
there
it that.
any animals that ate other animals on the Ark? Like, were there species that were on the Ark that were devoured by
didn't make it.
Right.
They
That
make
we
it
don't
past
know
the
about.
flood.
And
Yeah.
they
never made it past the flood.
Was there?
Well, you think there's had to be.
They would have
You
had
can only
to be.
store so much food.
Right, correct.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, but what do you store for a lion? Because they're meat eaters.
Well, true. Yeah. We've got a whole.
How do you get the lions on the
You've got
ark?
a pair of every other species.
Right,
that are,
you tell them, say, hey, listen, I
That's
got good
lunchtime.
news. You guys come on the ark. I'm gonna bring 2 of every surviving animal right now, and then you guys can just whatever you want. Just between like midnight and 1, just keep it down.
But really, when we're all in the same boat started, they didn't have cruise ships that
Right.
held 4,000 people.
No, exactly.
So how many people sat on that boat?
Right. Well, if you want to go back to our topic, which was vacations and Thanksgiving.
Oh, is that what it was?
Well, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, right? When Christopher Columbus came over and he ran into to Plymouth Rock, which was somewhere, right? And then they celebrated with a turkey, and that's why.
Right. Well, I think a turkey's just a big bird. Probably has a lot of meat.
Exactly. It did. That's true. That's true.
That would be common sense, though.
That
Not
common
uncommon
sense. But then you have the wishbone that came out of the chest, right?
True.
And then you make a wish.
Right. Which that's the special part of the day.
What about your vacation thing?
What about vacations?
Yes.
People arbitrarily use them. They don't.
Sorry if you're driving the car and you're laughing and you can't see through the tears. Just dry them off. You'll be fine.
And you're saying, where the hell are these guys going?
Hey, we're not going anywhere,
But
because we have time to use and we can't take off. No,
exactly. Well, but that's true for a lot of people, though. And if, like you said, if you're in your business, which is car sales,
Right.
or my business, which is marketing and ad sales, you're finishing up one holiday, you're planning for the next year. It's tough to take off, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people who are in the same. So you're driving yourself crazy trying to use up those days, and you don't use them.
correct.
Like you said, like what you would do, wouldn't it make more sense to incentivize
But we
these
don't
people
live
to
in
use
a
them?
world where people use common sense anymore. It's all uncommon.
And I think we mentioned it, but then kind of got off subject, which imagine that.
No.
Why do you drive yourself crazy to take vacations? Like most people that I talk to, it takes them 2 weeks to prepare to go away for a week, and then they're paying the price the week when they get back, trying to catch up.
Exactly. Well, ketchup. Do you like ketchup?
I do like ketchup.
Do you see? I don't like ketchup. You know about the 3 tomatoes that were walking down the street, right?
do not know.
Well, they were mom and dad made it across the street, and the baby was sitting on the corner. So the mom walked over, squashed the baby, and said ketchup. But
That's what it
if we're gonna throw one bad dad joke in, we gotta have
That's a
to,
bad
like
dad
that. That
joke,
is a bad dad joke, and I have them just because I'm a bad dad.
But
Well,
it
no,
makes
I'm not a
sense.
bad dad. I'm a good dad, but I have bad dad jokes.
Right.
But
There's a difference.
Yeah, there is.
But
Anyway.
we already did a show on contradictions, so.
Oh, we did.
I think
Yeah,
that's-
but
that's
this
show
whole
number
show
2.
should be contradictions. I mean, Jesus, yes. God, we're talking about the ark and Jesus, and
Right.
you know,
we got the religious flair today.
we do. It is a little bit of flair. Now, how does that flair even come up? Because what is a flare? A flare is something you put on the side of the road if you're distressed, right? Or
yes,
you
yes.
shoot it up
Or
in
you
the
shoot
air
it
if
up in
you're
the
on a
air,
boat.
right, if you're on a
I put
boat.
my boat
On that
away.
boat.
Yeah, I put my boat
You got
away.
your
a couple
boat on
weeks
your
ago.
mind, yeah.
I do. Yeah. Ark, boat.
You're counting down the days
Yeah,
to
I am.
springtime.
Imagine if I could fit all those animals on my boat. Nope, it's pretty tiny. Anyway, but what's going to float your boat?
Well, true.
There's another pun.
But does float a boat.
Oh my gosh.
There's some serious questions to ponder.
Yeah, no, it is. Ponder. Oh my gosh. What the heck? All right. So anyway, can you see the clock? Because we did pay him extra to get the clock.
We're like
plenty of time. All right, so we're going totally off
Yeah,
base.
this is the first show where we actually have the clock running, so we know how long we're going.
It is. But we don't have hairy mics.
True.
So which is good. A hairy mic. We should make that. Yeah. What do you do with a hairy mic?
That's a whole different kind of podcast.
It is. Anyway, so with my vacations, actually, with my job, you start, you get a year from your start date.
Okay.
So I started February 25th, so I have a year.
Oh.
So it's not the fiscal year, it's
Right,
your
yeah,
it's
calendar
your
year, yeah.
hire date.
Yeah, calendar year.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, my whole thing is, why pay someone good time because they say they need to take off if they don't want to take off, if they rather get the money that they would use to take off? Because if you have to take a holiday around Christmas time, why not take the money so you could buy better presents for your spouse?
That would be common sense.
Right, exactly. Right. Which, again, we're talking about
That's
uncommon
right,
sense,
right.
which no one has. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel that we don't have. But we will have it, I guess, because we're making videos.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
starting to sweat. These lights are hot.
you know, we're letting people behind the charade here that we recorded
Charade.
this.
Now, what do you mean behind the charade? Like all this stuff, like charades is something that you do to make, you can't say a word when you do charades.
Well, that's kind of what this is. You know, we're putting on a fake
That we
front.
pretend we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we're pretending
A
that
fake
we just
front.
recorded this. That's going to run around
Oh, it is,
Thanksgiving.
right, 'cause this
but
is
we
like-
recorded it before Halloween, even.
Right.
And at that time, We didn't have the YouTube channel,
But we do now.
Or we do now. By the time,
So
this
now, are
runs,
we speaking in the past, or are we talking about in the future?
It's very confusing.
It is like back in the future.
Who would have thought that doing a podcast would come up with so many questions?
Right. Well, that's a really good point. But who cares? Who thinks that someone would be listening to these questions to even care?
We don't even know if anyone will be listening.
No,
at this
we
point.
don't.
They may have tuned into the first two and said,
I said,
"Hell with
no,
that."
not even interested
I
whatsoever.
got way more. I got vacation days to plan.
Right, exactly.
How's that for pulling it
Right
full
now,
circle?
yes.
And we still got a couple of minutes. We can go
I
on
can't
here.
see it, and I don't want to look away. What's the number?
We're at about 15 minutes.
We're
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
we're about 15
so
minutes,
what
yeah.
the producer has said is that the average podcast should be between 20 and 22 minutes because that's a natural drive time for this area. So that's what we're gonna do. Because do you watch any? This is not have nothing to do with nothing. But do you watch any shows like on Netflix or anything
Sure,
like that?
yeah, everybody
Like
does, sure.
No, I do not.
You do not?
You know
Okay.
why?
Why?
Because I figure like this, and all you writers and producers out there, listen up really good. If you're not smart enough to make a show start and finish in 1 hour, and you drag me on to watch it for the next time, I'm not watching. I'm not interested. I'm not binge watch. My wife
Well, see,
binge
we
watches.
binge watch.
Why?
My fiance and I binge watch.
That's why.
Because it's exciting.
No,
Right,
it's
it's
life.
exciting.
You got life out there, man. If I'm not out doing something, I'm not going to sit and watch the boob tube and suck into someone else's life and then get to work and hear that Carrie shouldn't have married John because John's no good for him. Like, come on.
Well, we'll pick a show and we'll binge watch it, and
Uh-huh.
then we move on to the next one. But we don't do it because I'm crazy busy. I mean, we're talking 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we'll watch maybe a show a night, one episode a night, and
Yeah.
that's it. And maybe on a Sunday,
Nah.
if the weather's lousy.
Give me an hour. Sunday's
we'll-
made for football.
Well,
That's the only thing I
this
watch.
time of year now,
Yeah.
yes, we'll watch football.
Yeah, it's
But-
pretty funny. My and I tell my wife she's on her phone way too much. She doesn't listen to me. My granddaughter drew a picture of us, right?
Yeah.
She has my face, and it doesn't look like me. It looks like the
Doesn't
elephant.
it look
man.
like that?
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
it?
yeah, it kind of looks like that. You know, what my wife looks like. She has a phone in front of her face, so all you see is like this big square. Sorry, I hit the mic, and like hair coming out from a phone.
So what your wife spends a lot of time doing.
Exactly. She's on TikTok and YouTube and all this stuff. And we would be on YouTube. She ain't going to watch us. She puts up enough of this crap. But we have a YouTube.
I'm sure she's like, why the hell would I want to
Right,
watch
we
that?
have a YouTube
I see
channel.
that I see that 24/7. Yeah.
This iced tea's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes, it is. but again, that's the whole subject of this podcast.
And this
These
podcast
kind
is
of things.
sponsored by, we don't have any yet.
Is Arnold Palmer
you
iced
could
teas.
be.
Yeah. But yeah, vacation time this time of year, it's a crazy time.
It is. So here's the thing. And a staycation makes no sense because you're getting paid for not working, but you're doing stuff around the house you really don't want to do.
That's not
honestly.
fun. That's not fun.
That's not fun at all. So talk to your employee and say, listen, I'm a good employee. You don't want me to miss work. Because if I don't work today and you pay me for not coming in, I got to do twice as much tomorrow to catch up to where I was. So just pay me. Use your mind. Forget the rule book because rules are made for idiots. Let's just focus
So all
on
you employers out
Yes,
there,
all you employers
listen.
out there, call me. My cell number is, I ain't doing that yet, but well, the 3 people are going to grab it. But
Right. There'll be emails in our emails from our employers
yeah, I know.
by the end of this podcast.
They're not going to watch
What the hell
this.
are you talking about?
They will not watch this.
No.
But just use common sense. I mean, listen, if you're really good at what you do and you need a day off, you're going to get the day off. Right? Because you can't hire people, obviously.
No, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, let's-
I think anybody in business will agree with that.
It's definitely a different world that we live in today. But that's too serious for what our talk is.
Oh, it is,
Well, we're
yeah.
talking about uncommon sense.
We're on common sense, and I think this is a show. I think we're done.
I think we're
we've
good.
had enough.
So we're pointing to the shirt, even though people are listening to this on the radio.
What the hell what are they doing?
just
Yeah.
narrative here. We're pointing at shirts that say "Uncommon Sense." They were made by what's his name, Ron Lee, screen printing in Danville, Bloomsburg. But anyway, so all I want to do is say,
Shameless
hey,
plug.
thanks if you listen to. I
Yes.
just spit. Sorry, I got the hair off the mic. But if you just are tuning in and you're listening to us for our 3rd show, I commend you.
yes, thank you.
Because
Thank you.
I don't know why you're listening, and like I said, if we're confusing you, that's great, and if we're not confusing you, then you need to.
then you're our kind of people.
Yes, yeah, we do like you. So we're totally off subject, we're totally off bounds, but I want to thank you so much for listening to the 3rd podcast of Uncommon Sense, and Please be a subscriber. Go to our YouTube channel. Go to our TikTok channel. Go to our Facebook. And man,
and hopefully by the time this airs, we'll have all that.
yeah, we might right. and we are speaking as it is November, but we are back in the future.
Right, exactly. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And
Have a great Thanksgiving.
yes, have a good holiday. Thank you.
Eat that egg.
The Uncommon Sense Podcast. It's like an outrageous cup of Joe.